I believe that voting is a habit. The very first time I was able to vote and I voted, I have not missed a ballot since. And some Latin American young adults, they're the first ones in their family to be eligible to vote. And they probably have never seen their parents vote because their parents are not citizens, right? So recently, a local Latin American publication, which is known as La Noticia, they conducted a survey of Latin American voters under the age of 39, which is a group that represents, by the way, over 60% of Latino voters here in Mecklenburg County. So these are Mecklenburg County residents who identify as Latinx who did not vote in the November 2020 elections. The poll revealed that the main reason for not voting included lack of time, which I personally believe is due to the lack of flexibility or communication around when the polls are open. They also mentioned their disillusionment with politicians. And above all, the idea that voting just does not generate any change as a major factor as to why they abstained. This narrative is exactly what those that oppress communities of colors want us to believe. It's actually their narrative, and unfortunately, something that I believed as a young adult. Now, how do we drive change and how do we drive Latin American voter engagement? Someone mentioned it earlier, and it's education, right? We have to educate our young Latino voters on the importance of the electoral process. We have to educate them on why it makes a difference and why it's really one of the only things that can make a difference. And one thing we need to do is we got to modernize our election process to make it accessible to everyone. It shouldn't be easier to jump on Instagram than it is to vote. And we have to empower our community to ensure that every voice is heard, but we can't do it alone. It's going to take the investment of large organizations, our party's commitment to engage the Latin American community, and an all hands on deck approach. It also takes the elected officials in our city, the county, the state, and even at a federal level. We need everybody on board, because leaving it to a small group of nonprofits and political organizations, it won't suffice. Many like me have been fighting this fight for quite some time, but as I mentioned earlier, it takes that all hands on deck approach if we're going to have these results. But most importantly, and those that know me know this is something that's near and dear to my heart, y'all know the saying, right? Rising tide lifts all boats. And now more than ever, communities of color, we got to stick together. There truly is power in unity, and we have to come together because the oppressors are the same people. And if we come together as one, we're going to be able to succeed. So thank you all for your time, and